At the edge of an international border, at the edge of the Pacific, at the edge of innovation, community, education, and discovery, you're listening to At the Edge of It All, a University of San Diego podcast where USD experts speak on topics and stories that impact you and the broader community.
Hello there, I'm Lisette Martinez. Welcome to another episode of At the Edge of It All.
And I'm Elena Gomez, and today we're joined by Kimmel Yeager. She is the Executive Director of all things wellness here at the University of San Diego. Kimmel, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Yeah, I am very excited to be here and talk to you about everything that I get to do here at the University of San Diego. I get to do so many amazing things supporting all the parts of wellness that are not medical related. So I support our recreation programs team, intramurals, our outdoor adventures team, fitness, and then our brand new wellness center.
Ooh, so that sounds like a lot.
It's a lot, but it's awesome. I've got the best job on campus.
All the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Before we get to what you do, your expertise, and how you're going to tell us all to live a great and healthy lifestyle and how we can achieve that, I want to know a little bit more about you. You are originally from Boston, right?
Yeah.
Take us through like a quick recap of your life.
Yeah. Well, I'm a little bit of a wanderlust baby. I grew up in Boston, born and bred, big Red Sox fan, big Patriots fan, all the things. I went to the University of Maryland for my undergraduate degree. I have an undergraduate degree in American Studies focusing on media relations and PR. Then I went back to Boston. I worked for AmeriCorps for a year, and I did work there in domestic violence and teen dating violence. And then I went to Ohio University for grad school, where I got a degree in higher education and counseling, focusing mostly in drug and alcohol studies and rehabilitation. And then I started my higher education career, working for a few different universities, Dean College and then MIT. But on the side, I was always involved in fitness. I was teaching group fitness. I was a personal trainer. I was at the gym 24/7 because that's where my friends were, my family were, and really fell in love with that side of things too. So at some point, Equinox, actually, I was teaching at in Boston, came to me and said, "We know you have this whole big career, but if you ever would consider making the hop over, we want you." And I was at a point in my life that I had this little thing inside me that said, I need to try that for a little bit. And so I jumped ship from higher education to fitness operations, working for Equinox as a manager in Boston. And that eventually brought me out to the West Coast, where I worked my way up to being an area manager for Equinox. I supported, depending on the year, 6 or 7 different clubs, and got to really focus on group fitness specifically, and got to work on some other projects for the company as well. I infamously led our yearly Equinox Games, which was our big corporate meeting.
How
and I got to
fun.
help with opening some different clubs. And I really just was in love with my career with Equinox and everything I got to do there. But again, eventually just got that little itch, and something was calling to do something a little bit different, a little bit, I don't want to say bigger, but something on a bigger scale. I really wanted a seat at the table, I think was that inner fire. And so I eventually left Equinox and started in the startup world, where I was national director of operations for a few different wellness-based and fitness-based startups. The Well, Remedy Place, Unova, Continuum. And I got to be all over the country. I lived in Denver. I lived in Manhattan with those facilities, and really got to support, again, wellness in a different way, adding in some medical, adding in some alternative medicine. The Well had a restaurant I got to support, fitness as well, spa, all of that kind of stuff, really in the luxury realm,
Right.
And loved that. And again, after about 8 years, again, got that little itch, and really had always known, I think deep down inside, I'd make my way back to higher ed, and didn't know how that would work out. And then this job popped up, and I was like, wait a minute, I get to go back to higher ed, which I know is at my core,
Right.
but I get to actually bring to higher ed everything that I've been doing in building wellness facilities and incorporating alternative medicine and holistic medicine into fitness programs. And so it just felt like the right thing. And so, I accepted the job here at the university last year.
It was the perfect job for you,
really,
it seems like. Wow.
Honestly was. It really
Wow.
was, whatever they call it, kismet. Again, to have that thing inside of you that said it's time,
Right.
and then to have the opportunity, pop up that really was fully within my expertise in a really unique way, felt amazing. And it's been amazing since, to be honest. A lot of hard work, but it's been wonderful.
I know that we mentioned certain areas where you have specialized in, but fitness is for everyone,
Absolutely.
right? No matter what their socioeconomic status is, there's always something you can do to be healthier, to be better. And fitness is more than just weight loss. I think that people think about, okay, if I'm fit, I'm just muscular, thin. I go to the gym 24/7. But it's not that, right? It has nothing to do with weight.
No, honestly, weight is the least of it, truly. If you've ever taken one of my classes, my Pilates classes, and anybody who's listening to this that is going to giggle and laugh. I say every single class, this is for everybody, because I really believe that everyone has a space in health and fitness, and it's figuring that out. And for some people, health and fitness is playing video games in community and meeting a friend and getting a social outlet. And for other people, it's getting stronger, getting more muscular. For some people, it's having the ability to lift themselves off the floor. Maybe they live by themselves, they're coming up in age, and they're starting to get scared about their ability to not be injured in their home. It is so many things to so many different people. And so creating that space in each of the facilities that I worked in where everyone felt welcomed, it felt accessible, and they could do whatever was best for them in any one moment. That's the other thing to remember. What's best for you on Wednesday isn't maybe what's best for you on Thursday, right? Maybe that changed. On Wednesday, it really is about, your goal to have really cut biceps. But on Thursday, you had a bad day at work, and it really is just seeing your friend Jane, who set up your step for you in class. And so you ran into class late and your whole station's already set up, and she's there and she can give you a big smile, and she wanted to see you. And so again, it's that community or social aspect. It's different for everybody, not
For everybody, right. And I think a lot of people get maybe like intimidated by the idea of fitness because they think, gosh, I have to walk into this. I know it's happened to me.
Yeah.
Like I have to walk into this gym. I don't know how to use this machine.
Absolutely.
No, I don't want to look like a fool.
Yep.
Like I can't, it's too much for me. But, fitness can be even just a walk around your neighborhood or,
Absolutely.
So many things. As you said, there's apps, there's all kinds of tools.
Absolutely.
And communities.
There's community centers. Exactly, getting out in the sunshine and just maybe sitting in a chair with some sun on your face, or maybe it's going for a walk or all of that kind of stuff. I have heard so many times in the gym setting, having specifically taught group fitness for as long as I have, people say, well, I'd love to come to your class, but I need to train first. I'm not, that kind of, and that always broke my heart, because absolutely not. I'm not doing my job as an instructor if you feel like you need to do something before you walk through my door. My job as an instructor is to make sure I'm teaching a class that is open and accessible to everybody. And so, see, there it is again. If it's your first day in class, it is my job to look around and see that nervousness in your eyes, to see that apprehension, and then reach out to you, envelop you again and support, introduce you to the person sitting next to you, bring you your weights or bring you whatever you need. Make sure that, I'm giving you an extra thumbs up or a little wink throughout class so you feel supported. And, we usually call it our front rowers who take every single class we've ever taught and literally, when I mess up, I say 5, 6, 7, 17. They're like, it's 8, like they can teach your class better than you can. And so there's some really important parts of that we've brought into even this wellness center, as well as some of my other facilities. Here at this wellness center, and I don't mean to jump ahead, but it was really important to me to train our students in hospitality. And that was because I wanted them to be able to recognize, again, as people walk through the doors, the person that was feeling shy, that person who is feeling a little bit scared, and be able to go to them and say, welcome, come on in. Do you know where you're going? You don't? Let me go with you. Let me bring you here. Are you nervous about taking, a class? I get it. Let's talk. Let me talk you through the class. I'll tell you who the instructor is. I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen in that class. You're nervous about getting on a machine? Let me show you how. Right. So our students are trained specifically to be welcoming in that way to people coming in for the first time that again, may be a little bit nervous because it should never be that you feel like you need to do something before you take the first step. That first step is so hard already. We're there to support that first step.
You kind of mentioned, on Wednesday you may be in need of this. On Friday you're in need of something else. And everyone's need also is different too. Some people may just prefer to do, yoga. Some people really want to hit hard with cycling classes. So how do you create a facility in your experience to kind of appease everybody and help everybody find their space? And also give people opportunity to try new things to see, oh, actually, maybe yoga might be for me. Let me try that out because it's available. And then, of course, with all of that, there's always new fitness things. I mean, we're seeing like ice baths are popular now and these infrared mats, right? So how do you stay on top of all that while still providing a variety of things?
And by the way, let's do it in the context, since you've mentioned it a few times already, of the Palomar Health Student Wellness Center, which is the center why you came to this university. Tell us about that center, because it has everything that Elena just mentioned. And so then you can explain to us why. How come everything was curated the way it was? I mean, this is a phenomenal facility for a university.
It's an unbelievable facility. And again, that's why I feel so lucky to have, been able to stumble into this role or be recruited into this role because they are doing fitness differently than other institutions of higher education, and really, called someone with my expertise in to bring some of that. That's what I've been able to do for the past however many years of my career. And so I think a lot of it is just kind of, knowing what's worked in other places and what's been successful in other places and bringing that in and talking positively about it and introducing people to it, making sure my entire staff is involved. So, my custodians are taking classes and working out. My front desk team has again, gotten all of this hospitality training, customer service training. They're getting training in all the modalities, and our personal trainers and our pro staff who are all experts in the field. And so bringing all that together. But also, and probably the real secret sauce, is just listening. It's saying, yes, I have all this expertise and I believe in all those modalities and I think you're really going to like it, but also let me listen to what you want and what are you seeing and what are you thinking and where do you find wellness, and then working to incorporate that in. So I'll give you an example. I am a really unsuccessul artist. I love art, and
I doubt that.
I am really good at about a second to third grade level. But I incorporate art into my wellness for sure, whether it is, painting pottery with my nieces, or, taking my nephews to a paint your own, portrait night, or, crocheting myself, or things like that. So it's definitely a part of me. But I've never incorporated it specifically into a wellness center before here. And one of the things that we did prior to coming in is we did a bunch of surveys to the students. We did a bunch of focus groups. I went into meetings. I did a road show when I first got here. So into our ASG community, into our graduate student union, and just talk to people. What do you want? And art came up a lot. We want a place where we can just hang out and draw, hang out and paint, that kind of stuff.
So therapeutic.
So we have a rejuvenation room in the center, and it's where our nap pods are and our PEMF mat. And
my
it's
favorite
a relaxation
part of fitness is napping.
Gorgina, I won't lie. But there's also an art therapy center in that room. And it's just chock full of watercolors, pastels, yarn, beads, stickers, anything you can imagine. And it gives me a lot of joy. I always say I've caught students several times. I'll walk in, they're just on the floor and they're making stuff. That's something that it shouldn't have been surprising. Again, that's where one of the places I find wellness, but it's not something I had done before. Students asked for it. We executed, and it's been amazing. So yeah, I think at the end of the day, a little bit is, yes, I had the expertise, but a lot of it is also just knowing that what has worked in the past is just the starting point, and really listening to what the students wanted here and what their vision is was our real secret sauce.
So tell us more about this wellness center. It's about 80,000 plus square feet. It's like indoor, outdoor space. Tell us all the gadgets it has, and what parts of it are like new and up and coming technologies in the fitness world? Because I understand you have new equipment that is not just like the same old, bikes or whatnot. Like there's a lot of new gadgets.
Absolutely. Well, this was a real focus for me. So I, again, remember, though it was 700 years ago, graduating from college in those early 20 years, and it was difficult. It was really hard. And I didn't have the tools back then to really help myself from a wellness point of view. And that has been a big driving force for me personally and, in this wellness center. Making a space where students would feel comfortable developing habits that would help them now, academically, socially, mentally, etc., but also give them the toolbox to help themselves post-graduation as well. When they go out into the real world and they're experiencing first jobs for the first time and big bills and all of this kind of
stressors.
Stuff. Absolutely. I wanted them to have the experience of knowing what to ask for, what tools that would be able to support them in that next phase of life. And so it was really important that this wellness center was designed to really mimic what some of these gyms and fitness centers are offering out in the private sector, sometimes at a very luxury level, but that are supportive in this. Students deserve it. You shouldn't have to wait just because you're a student to have what you deserve. So we built a luxury facility, to be honest. We really did. So some of the highlights of the wellness center is we have a cardio and endurance floor that is just chock full of all different kinds of equipment. So we have your treadmills and your stair mills and your ellipticals, of course, but we also have Pelotons. We have ski ergs, Versa climbers, a Jacob's ladder. We have a lot of different kinds of jump ropes and boxes and things like that, where students can come in and find all different ways to get their cardio and endurance health in, as well as some ADA equipment and some more supportive equipment, accessible equipment as well. And then down on our strength floor, we brought in all brand new equipment. We worked with companies such as Matrix and BeaverFit, and really outfitted the entire floor so beautifully. We have one piece of equipment, which is a belted squat machine from Rogue, which is all the rage these days, but it's a much better, much healthier way to do weighted squats because it's more supportive for the back. We have a lot of functional equipment up there. So kettlebells, ropes, pulls, cable machines, just all the latest and greatest, never mind, full sets of weights and all of that kind of stuff. We have a gorgeous outdoor gym facility that we're super excited about. Again,
it is gorgeous. Yes.
Working with BeaverFit specifically to outfit that. So it really helped us also expand our fitness offerings. And let's face it, we live in San Diego.
I was just going to say,
here,
in San Diego,
100%
doable for sure.
Exactly. You gotta use what you got. So we have this beautiful outdoor gym facility that expands like our squat rack facility by another 8 squat racks, kettlebells, recovery equipment, boxing equipment. We've got a bouldering wall out there for climbing, a soccer field, a sand volleyball court, a basketball court, pickleball court. Then we have this humongous multi-purpose gym that is mostly used for basketball, men's and women's lines on that, as well as volleyball. But that's also where we host our dodgeball tournaments and where we just hosted a midnight bingo game. So really excited about that as well. We have 2 different desks where students and patrons can rent almost anything you can imagine, complimentary. So towels, basketballs, soccer balls, boxing gloves, TRXs, chalk, climbing shoes, Yahtzee games, Scrabble, chess games, things like that. Again, just trying to offer as much to as many different people as possible when it comes to wellness, wherever that might be for them. And then we have this gorgeous wellness wing, we call it, where a lot of our rejuvenation offerings happening. So that's where our rejuvenation lounge is, our nap pods, PMF mat, the art therapy counter, a huge.
Did you have like a sound therapy?
Yeah,
space too, right?
We do, yeah. So we have that wellness patio, and then throughout the entire building, we have sound healing happening. So we have very specific zones where different music is being played to really represent the zone. So in our wellness wing, it's going to be more things like folk music or acoustic music or classical music, whereas in the cardio and endurance room and the strength floor, it's going to be more energizing music. We also did that same thing coming with an olfactory experience. So we have different scents in the different areas of the wellness center to really speak to what's happening in those different areas. So in our more upregulating areas, we have a eucalyptus and basil scent. I believe it's basil. That's really up-leveling the nervous system. In our wellness wing, we have a more deregulating scent, which is lavender and vanilla. And then in our community spaces, we have a very grounding scent that's made up of tonka and sandalwood to really, again, speak to your nervous system and let your nervous system know this is a place you can take a deep breath.
You
this
have
is a
really
place you
thought
can
about everything.
relax.
Wow.
or I shouldn't say I have. But we have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, students, community, patrons, the pro staff, the student staff, our facility staff, our maintenance staff are also are all such a big part of putting this together. I haven't even finished telling you about the building yet.
I'm
It's
waiting
that
for
big.
the rest. I'm
It's that
waiting for
big.
the rest.
So another area that we're really excited about is our Torero Gaming and Engagement Lounge. So a lot of schools are getting more into e-gaming, and we are just
Can you explain what that is for those of us who are not familiar?
So some schools are doing it at a very advanced level. They have, varsity teams. They have scholarship teams focused around gaming. There are schools that have schools of gaming where you're learning how to code or play games at a very high level, design games, things like that. Here at the University of San Diego, one of our biggest student groups is our gaming group. So we really wanted to provide a social space for them, make sure that they had an area of campus that could be theirs, that they could get together, that they could socialize. It's also right next to our juice bar. That is of no mistake. Our Crush Juice Co. is our juice bar, providing whole recipes, clean recipes, simple recipes, smoothies, bowls,
Very good.
juices. So when, let's say specifically those gamers need a snack, they're not running to, a fast food joint. They're running to our juice bar and they're getting really whole, nutrient-dense foods. So that was really important. In our gaming lounge, we have a bunch of, again, just kind of your normal fun table games. So chess and checkers and Yahtzee and all those kind of things. I'm forgetting my favorite one off the top of my head. But we also then have 10 of the most gorgeous, most advanced computer consoles that are chock full of every game that students play these days. And so when they come in, they rent 60 minutes of time at one of these consoles. We provide for them headsets, the keyboard, the mouse, and then again in 60-minute increments they can hang out, play some games, socialize, talk to one another. We also have, and this is the area of fitness I'm the weakest in, by the way, and I'm just learning. I actually just got a lesson from one of my pro staff the other day on Mario Kart, but we have Nintendo Switches, and so you see groups of students hanging out in front of one of the big screen TVs in there, all playing Nintendo together. So I got my first Mario Kart lesson the other day, which I think went well. I came in third place in my first game.
Hey, that's good.
But I did get a little car sick. So, still a little nerdy. And so that's the Torero Gaming and Engagement Lounge. And then we have our wing for the Center for Health and Wellness Promotion. And this wing houses all of our health promotion staff. And these staff members are doing most of our preventative work around campus, right? So they're helping to lead different activities, groups, different programs for students to help educate them on different health issues that are out there in the world, whether it's interpersonal violence, nutrition issues, things of that nature. That's led by one of my dear friends, Ann Cass. And then we also have a hub for some of our counselors in that wing too. So we have 2 counselors that sit in that wing. We have counselors almost all around campus or in our counseling center and a health center. And now we're happy to host a few counselors in that wing as well. Our prayer and reflection room is in that wing as well. This is just a safe space for students to go. We have meditation chairs. We have different items that different students of different religious backgrounds might need to use during their prayer times in that room as well. So it's really accessible for all of our students of all different backgrounds. And so that space is just a really sacred, beautiful space. And right at the front of it is actually one of the things I need to mention because it's really important. Our students live in communal housing for the most part, right? It's just kind of part of the college experience. And it's phenomenal. And to be honest, we do our housing so well here. You get very little pushback from students on that. That being said, one thing that's really difficult from a wellness point of view is that so many health appointments now are virtual. Correct. So they're meeting with their counselors virtually. They're meeting with, even maybe their home pediatrician or their internal doctor, things like that. And to find a space that is truly private for them is difficult. So we have some soundproof telehealth booths at the beginning of the Center for Health and Wellness Promotion Lounge that students can rent an hour at a time and take their medical appointments and be assured that it's a private, secure space for them to be able to be in. And they don't have to fight with other students who might need to study there or are hanging out, or this is just for them.
You
know
what,
reason.
Kimmel, that's something that can be easily overlooked. But as you said, a lot of things are virtual now. And it is so hard to find a space, even as an adult, like you're in your house or you're at work or in a coffee. It's impossible. So it's so great to have those soundproof, really private spaces for them to take care of their health and well-being.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you have a teaching kitchen too. Talk to us about that, because there is a link between what we eat and how we feel.
Oh, absolutely. Not just a link, it is a direct through line. Right on the other side of Crush Juice Co. is a brand new teaching kitchen. Really excited to get those programs launched, hopefully upcoming this fall. It's gorgeous if you haven't stopped by yet. It looks like the set of the Food Network, all different stations for students to stand at, and then the teachers up at the front. And they are going to do things like, learn how to cook for better brain health, learn how to cook for gut health, learn how to cook, accessible recipes that you can do in your dorm. But they're also going to be able to schmooze with some area celebrity chefs that we're going to bring in some more high level kind of experiences and programs. We're really excited about this space too, because it's going to be a space that we can welcome the whole community into. So that space will be open and providing a lot of programs for the San Diego and Linda Vista community at large. So we're really excited for that kitchen to really take off and find its true identity too.
Right.
Yeah.
And one thing you did when you started here as well was create a student wellness ambassador program, because you listed so many different things that are on your University of San Diego's campus. How do we digest it all? And so you created this program 100%. Where students can go out and educate other students about all of the resources involved in wellness, right?
It was 100% a necessity. Again, I came to University of San Diego because they had this dream of the Wellness Center, and it was so epic. And then I looked deeper and I was like, what this school does around health and wellness already is unbelievable. Our counseling center is top notch. And again, it transcends the entire campus. Our recreation programs for a campus of our size is doing unbelievable work and really addressing just so many different students. Our intramural programs, I think I'm going to get the number wrong, but I think we have 27 different intramural programs right now. It's amazing the work we're doing. It was overwhelming to be new here and to
learn about
all of that. And I was the person in charge of supporting so many of those programs, not all of them, but so many of those programs. So I looked around and I said, how am I going to get the word out? How am I going to make sure that the students and patrons know exactly what they can access on campus? We did a huge cold plunge event at the beginning of last semester. It was a breathwork and meditation class. And we felt like we told everybody, right? We put out every sign, every Instagram post, every social media post. We were announcing it all over the place. And the biggest complaint I got right after it ended was, how come I didn't know about it? It sold out in 3 minutes,
right.
And so we knew we really needed to find a way to get the word out in a different way. So we developed the Wellness Ambassador Program. And so these students are students who are really passionate about health and wellness. Some, I would say most, are actually looking at careers in this. So they're in our nursing school, or they are in a pre-med directional program. But a lot of the students also are in other programs, and they just have a wellness background or a passion, or they're not sure how their career is going to fall into health and wellness, but they know it will in some way. And so those are the students that we actively recruited for this program. We started last year with our inaugural program where we had 7 students kick it off. They wrote the Constitution, they wrote the mission and values, they wrote the program design, they wrote the curriculum for education for this year. And then coming this fall, we will recruit our first actual class. They'll go through through that education program that the founding class put together. And then they will be the students all around campus talking about all these programs and all these services throughout campus. They'll be talking about it in their sororities and fraternities, or on their sports teams, or in their classes, or at lunch. Their main focus is, from a student perspective, getting the word out. And then additionally, they will help us and support us doing interviews and being at large events and things like that. So they're a pretty incredible group, and we're really excited to have them. And I think that's going to be the key to getting the message out. Students only want to hear so much from me, quite honestly, or other pro staff. They're going to put more of their trust and their focus and attention on their peers. So having this peer group, this peer service leadership group, I think is going to be just absolutely next level, and is going to be a huge game changer for us on campus.
And before we wrap up, Kimmel, I would love for you to talk to our audience who may not be connected to USD, may not even be in San Diego, or not even be a college student, not being able to take advantage of what we just talked about. What can they do in their lives? What should they be looking for, regardless of what part of the journey they're in, right? There's always something to be done. You're an expert in this. Let's leave our audience with a little to-do list, right? What can you do today after listening to this podcast to be a better person, to feel better, to start your journey or continue on what you're doing?
I mean, I'm going to get a little introspective here. I'm going to say the first thing is to just look inward and know that you're perfect already. Everything that you are is made perfectly. And now if, expanding your health and wellness and fitness is something that you're interested in doing, let's look at what you love in your life. If you hate going to the gym, you're going to go for a little while and then stop. If you hate lifting weights, this isn't something that you're going to do long term, right? So let's find a time in your life that you did something that you loved. Was it, actually, when I was 12, I loved swim lessons. That was actually my favorite part of my summer. Let's find a swim program. Let's hop into your local Y and start taking some of the, water aerobics classes, or just getting in for a few laps. Maybe it is, I do love classes. I love that socialization. Great. Let's go start taking some classes. Don't stop when you take that first class that you hate. If you find an instructor and that instructor doesn't resonate with you, don't give up on the whole thing. Keep going. People that take my classes love my classes. I know this is going to be shocking to you too, because, I tell a lot of jokes, and occasionally I drop a cuss word, and I just want to make people laugh. And so those are the people that are going to resonate and take my classes. And that is for some people, and that's not for everyone. But some other people might really love, my friend Laura Hanlon teaches the best Pilates class I've ever taken. And she is gorgeous to watch, and she is so technical, and she is so precise with her cues. So people are going to resonate with her. So I think it's looking inward. What do you love? Is it community? Is it that special memory from your childhood? Is it something you saw on Instagram or TV that you're like, I want to try that. I've seen people on TV doing Zumba. It looks like fun. I want to give it a whirl. Give it a whirl, and don't stop. Give it a little bit of time. Find different instructors, find different spaces. You will find a home for yourself, and don't be judgmental about that. What I love is not the class that you're going to love, Lizette. So keep trying different things. You'll find your space.
And take baby steps, right? Because sometimes you feel like, okay, I'm going to start working out today. I have to work out for an entire hour. And that's not necessarily true. You have to take
It's literally not true. The science will tell us it's not true. I think that there's a lot of bad information out there. I will say that right now. Social media is so helpful in the health and fitness world. We have expanded so rapidly because of social media. So I'll always give it the credit it deserves. There's a lot of dangerous messages out there as well. There's a lot of posts and stories and pages that are not based in science, that are not based in fact. And so if you're ever in a space that is telling you that aesthetics are everything, it's the wrong space for you. What is important to you? I've always said it's important to me that I can do the things that I want to do. I might struggle, but if I want to go for a hike, it's important for me to be fit enough that I can go on that hike. If I want to spend an afternoon, like I did this weekend with my nieces at a water park, literally fighting for my life in a wave pool, I want to be able to do that. And so that's my fitness, barometer for myself. Right. I want to be able to do the things that I want to do. That is going to be, different for everyone. And so, again, be very cognizant of and wary of, people that are going to say fitness is any one thing or any which way. And I would say definitely be aware and maybe a little critical of anyone that says that it's all aesthetic related. I know some people that have very gorgeous, beautiful bodies that can be very ill. And I know, some people that are fighting some pretty big illnesses, autoimmune disease, cancer, things like that, that are, just doing their best. And so, again, wellness is different for everybody. And finding what works for you is that first step. It doesn't have to be a big swing. It shouldn't be a big swing.
Right.
Kimmel, thank you so much for joining us. That was wonderful advice. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
And if you like this episode, be sure to subscribe to catch our next one.